Okay, so this video is just going to be on how you can set up order tracking inside of Voiceflow, and it's going to connect to your Shopify, your client Shopify store, or your own Shopify store if you got that set up. So it's a direct API call to Shopify, so you don't need like Maker's API or anything. It's just a direct call to your Shopify, and what it will do is extract customers' order number. And so based on the order number, I'm just going to go through a couple of code and filter out the item that they've ordered, the fulfillment status of it, and then as well as the tracking URL, and can provide that back to the customer. So this is great for for e-commerce and Shopify, so where you can set this up onto your client's website or something, because a lot of inquiries and that kind of thing from customers are going to be around where's my order, stuff like that. So hopefully this kind of stuff can automate a lot of that process and reduce those kind of emails, and give them a instant response and updates of where their order is. So it's all live, and it will retrieve the order, and the API call being synced to your Shopify, it's going to update as the status of the order updates as well. So it's live updates, and it's great for instant responses and giving your customers all the information they need to track their order and locate where it is. So I'll get into how you can set it up. Starting off, I'll show you how you can set up the developer apps. So inside of your Shopify apps and sales channel. So just the basic setup of that, and then getting your API credentials and everything you need for permissions and access scopes, and then just getting your API key, and then it's basically just the Voiceflow setup, and how the whole flow works, and I'll break down each step, and as well there'll be the template for this Voiceflow will be down below, and again, if you got any questions or anything, just shoot me a message on Instagram. I'll get back to you. I'll help you out if you come into any roadblocks and stuff like that. So I'll get into it now. All right, so this is the developer app setup. So on your Shopify, so just log in, and what you want to do is click onto your settings and then go over to apps and sales channels. And so when you're on there, just come over to developer apps. You just want to click develop an app. And it'll come up with this screen here where you just click, you're just setting it up. So you can name it whatever you want, anything, and then just create the app there. Then it will come over to this page here. And so this is where you're configuring your API scopes and what permissions you want to set up with it. So just click onto configure admin API scopes, and then go down to over here. So hang on, sorry about that. So over here, you'll just see it'll come up with a drop down kind of menu, and you scroll along. And so what you want to do is click on all of these, and just give read and write, write and read, and click on all of these here. And then at the bottom, you just click save. Once that's done, just head over to install the app. Just click install, just tick it off. And then once you install that, it'll come over here and give you your API key. So just reveal it once, copy it, and then just write it down somewhere, because you won't get that again. So just save it somewhere where you can refer to it, and then you'll just head over to Voiceflow, and I'll show you how you can set all that up. I haven't gone into Shopify Live, just due to confidentiality with my client and how I've set it up and everything. Don't want to give any information away, but hopefully this kind of flow here just shows you how you can set everything up. But basically, so just develop apps, and then just go through, give all the permissions and everything, and then just get your API key and just copy that down. So heading over to Voiceflow, first off, you want to get all these variables here. So what you want to do is, if you haven't got these saved or anything, you just go over to content, and then over here you just want to, if you don't have any of the things there, you just want to go create a new variable and just create it down there. So if any kind of at the end of the when you're testing it out, if you're in debugging mode and like a certain variable comes up as not defined or something like Shopify response not defined, just go back over to that content page and just create a variable, because that will be through some of the coding over here. So I'll show you how you can set everything up. And there'll be a template below which you can refer to. So get into it. Starting off, just create a basic flow. So what is your order number? So text document, just drag it out there. And then for this one, you just want to make sure you give a little prompt to the customer to make sure they put a hashtag first, as this is just how the coding will filter it out and sort it. And then another thing I wanted to note, so you got your capture reply here. What you want to do is set the capture reply to your order number. So just create this variable here, and just select it. So making sure it's not set to the last utterance. Same thing over here. What's your email address? Set that to order email, and then going over to your get request. So inside your get request, you're just going to paste in your Shopify domain here. And the way you get this actually is I'll show you how you can get the get request, what you need to extract all the data and everything. But basically you just chuck this in here, and then for the email, you just want to add in your order email, which is what you captured over here. And then so for your headers, you got content type, application JSON, and then in that developer app, what I showed you before, your access API token, you just want to chuck this in here and just put X Shopify access token up here. Parameters, you just got body here, that's all good. And then capture response.orders, and then you're setting this to Shopify response. So if you don't have that variable, just create it below. I'll show you how you can get that, the get request URL in a sec, but I'll just show you the basic flow over here. So going into your get request, once that's all good, you can just set a little fallback if it doesn't go through. But that's coming over to your coding here, your first code, and then over here is just your little condition block. So it's if there is an order associated with the order number and then the order email, it's going through. And if there isn't, it's just following this path down here just to reprompt them saying there's no orders found. And that's the same with the no match block here. So this is just what it looks like inside. So has orders, you just name it. If Shopify response has any value, and then for no orders, if the Shopify response is empty, it's just going to go down here. So if it has an order, what it's going to do is come over to this block here. So I'll show you the JavaScript, but basically this is just getting the order number that the customer put in, just saving it as a new variable, and then extracting all the details necessary. So this is just the code here. So you've got the couple of variables here. So Shopify underscore response variable, which was in that condition step I showed you before. And then your order number over here. So basically this is just filtering out the order number and then just saving those details to a new variable, which is then going to flow over to this JavaScript here. So a bit of a longer one, but basically what this is doing is extracting all the fulfillment and getting the item number, the item that we want, that the customer has ordered, and then as well as the fulfillment status, and then the tracking URL. So you can see over here, it's just saving it as a new variable. So this is just extracting all the necessary data that we want to give back to the customer. So tracking number down here, and then just the fulfillment status and everything, tracking URL. And then basically at the bottom down here, it's just saving this to fulfillment details, which we then pass on to which we then give back to the customer. So flowing back over here, this is just the variable you've put in, and that's basically how it works there. All right, so this is just a live demo of how it works, and show you what exactly I'm giving back to the customer. So what they'll do, they'll just put in their email address, their order number, and then put in the email address, and then Yeah, sweet. So they've given the item name and then the fulfillment status, the tracking number, and then as well as the tracking URL. So this will just be blocked out, but you can basically see what I mean, and just how that works. And so to get that, the URL to put in your GET request, what you want to do is just search up at the top here, shopify.dev /docs/API. And what you want to do is click onto APIs and references. And then, so what you want to do is go over to admin API, REST reference, scroll down to orders, click on orders, and then it will load up, and then just on your GET request here, so retrieve a list of orders, and then over here you can just copy this, and then just go over to your Voiceflow and then paste that in, and then just before /admin you're just going to put in your URL, so your domain /myshopify.com, and then the HTTP request at the start, and then basically that's how you set up your GET request there. And so, yeah, back over to the flow. Basically, that's the whole setup there. So just with your GET request and then your dev docs, getting that URL to put into there. And then, so yeah, so you're just going over the developer app. So that's how you set up that, and you get the permissions and everything you need, which will just give access to your Voiceflow GET request with your API key and what you want to put in there. So it has all the access it needs to then extract those details you want to give it to them. But basically, yeah, that's the flow here. So just an API call to Shopify directly, and then just filtering through a couple of code, and then just providing those fulfillment details there. Yep. So again, the template will be below. Hopefully this gives you an idea on how you can set this up. But yeah, basically if you're, so that's the whole setup with your order tracking and the API call to your Shopify store, or if you're doing this for your clients, then that's how you can get your GET request API and the URL, and then as well as that dev docs, the URL you need to add into the GET request with your Shopify domain. So yeah, just recap. So just the breakdown. So starting off with your developer apps, you just want to set that up inside of Shopify. So you're just creating a new app, and then you're giving it the necessary permissions and scopes for Shopify to extract those fulfillment details and everything. And then as well as, so the flow, capturing the order number and the email address, and then all those JavaScripts and setup and the condition blocks. And then again, just so if you're replicating this, you want to make sure you've got all the variables set up. So if inside the coding and the JavaScript, making sure that it's all defined and everything can go to the right place. But yeah, so that's the basic setup with that. So if this kind of stuff, you're keen on setting this up for your own store, you can see the value in order tracking and what this can do for your customers, giving them instant updates, and kind of getting rid of those emails to your email address, asking where is my order. This is a great way to automate that process and give them all the information they need, and give them live updates of what's going on, what their fulfillment status is, giving them the tracking number instead of them kind of chasing you up, and you getting back to them in a couple of hours. This automates that whole process, giving you really good customer satisfaction, and hopefully that can turn into some other things with repeat orders, and those kind of things with conversion rates and improving that aspect. So if you're keen on this kind of stuff, you want to maybe explore it a bit further, or there's some other kind of ideas you had about some of this AI stuff and some automated processes, there's a link below to jump on a call with me. I'm happy to answer any questions and kind of do an audit of your business and see what's going on, see if I can be of any help, see how we could set this up for you, or a whole other system or something like that. And also there's other videos that should jump up after this one, explaining a bit more what I do, what kind of stuff I do for e-commerce and online retail. So you can check those out if you're keen. But yeah, any questions, happy to help out. Just send me a message on Instagram. I'll be happy to help. Cheers.